This is also our annual reorganization meeting, so for the next 5 or 10 minutes, the superintendent gets to act as the chair of the meeting. And I want to begin by congratulating Maureen Bacher and Mel Webster for their re-election to another full term on the school committee.
Mrs. Bacher did beat me by 22 votes. I'll be looking to improve on my performance in 3 years.
Okay, so under school committee policy, the reorganization meeting is chaired by the superintendent, and we have to elect different officers: the chair of the committee, the vice chair, the secretary, the legislative representative, and also the liaison to school supported groups. So the way we do this is by taking nominations, and then we vote. So the first position would be to elect a chair of the school committee. So I didn't have any nominations.
I'd like to nominate Mel Webster.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a nomination for Mel Webster for chair by Mrs. Bacher, seconded by Mr. Davis. Mr. Webster, do you accept the nomination?
Knowing how many seniors are out this year and how many diplomas I'll have to sign, I'm a little reluctant. But other than that, yes, I'll accept it.
All in favor of Mel Webster as chair for the 2007-08 school year?
Aye.
Okay, the next position is vice chair. Do you have any nominations?
Nominate Maureen Bacher.
Okay, do you have a second on that?
Second.
All right, so Mr. Venezia nominates Mrs. Bacher, seconded by Mr. Webster. Mrs. Bacher, you want to be vice chair?
Sure.
Accept that nomination. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Oh, I don't. Secretary.
I nominate Nicole Davis.
Okay. Do you have a second on that?
Second.
All right, so we have a second for nomination for Mrs. Davis by Mr. Webster, seconded by Mrs. Bacher. Mrs. Davis, you accept that position?
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations. Legislative representative to the State House.
Somebody nominate me because I don't want to do the next one.
I'll
all
nominate
right.
Jerry.
Okay, so Maureen Bacher nominated Jerry. Do we have a second?
Seconds.
Mrs. Davis seconds. Jerry, you going to take that?
Yes.
Joe?
Because I don't want to do anything else.
All in favor of Jerry Venezia as legislative rep?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
That means he has to serve the listserv.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute. That's a
He
problem.
doesn't have.
I just pick up the phone.
Maureen, I'll print out the email from you.
Okay, and the last officer is the liaison to support groups.
I nominate Steve Sherman.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Jervy isn't here to accept that, so we're going to assume he's going to accept it. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Let's move it on so we can get them all the bad assignments.
Okay, we have various subcommittees. The first one is the elementary school building committee. Is pretty much finishing out its term. Hopefully the faculty school will be done shortly. And there's one member. Jerry's currently serving on that. We have.
Nominate Jerry.
Second. Almost over.
Okay, Jerry, all set with that?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, great. Second one is the secondary school building committee, and Steve Jervy currently serves as the member of the secondary building committee.
I'll nominate Steve. I know he has an interest in finishing the work.
Okay, second on that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of Steve Jervy as secondary building committee?
Aye.
Okay. Next one is the policy subcommittee, and there are 2 members.
I'm fine with finishing on it. Yeah. I don't know about Steve.
I'll nominate Steve before somebody nominates me.
Okay, so we have nominee Nicole as well. Second.
I'll second Nicole, so nominate Steve.
And I'll second Steve.
All right, all in favor of Nicole Davis and Steve Jervy for the policy subcommittee?
Aye.
Next one is the athletic subcommittee. There are 2 members on that.
I'd like to stay.
I would also.
I'll nominate Mel and Jerry.
second on that?
Second.
All in favor of Mel Webster and Jared Venezia on the athletic subcommittee?
Aye.
Okay. Next one is the youth at risk committee. There's one member on that.
Nominate Maureen if she wants to.
I do.
Okay, there's a second on that?
Second.
All in favor of Maureen Barker as the youth at risk member?
Aye.
All right, next one is finance planning team, which typically is the chair and the vice chair, so it would be Mel and Maureen, but it might be helpful to have an alternate in case one or two of you can't come. So you want to vote for an alternate? Or just play it by ear?
We can just, if we play it by ear, it might work out better, so.
Right.
because
That
then
way we could designate based
Right.
on
who's
the
available.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so that'll be Mel and Maureen. It doesn't require a vote. And then the last one is the school finance strategies committee that has two members. And currently Mel and Nicole are,
I'll nominate Nicole and Steve Gerber.
I was just gonna say, well, I enjoy that committee. It's been a little bit much for me to try to get the meetings all the time, so, I think Steve would enjoy it.
It doesn't matter, it's not here.
No.
okay, do we have a second
I'll
on that?
second that,
Okay.
unless Steve has an objection, in which case.
All right, all in favor of Nicole Davis and Steve Jervy for the school finance strategy committee?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. All right, congratulations, have a good year, my job is done.
I did.
Sorry, I was late.
Honestly, I'm gonna miss sitting next to Dr. Troden. It's been like a security blanket for the last 3 years. Come home, I
Good.
got I don't even get to hit the gavel and stuff like you do tonight. Okay.
Oh, you brought it?
No, I'll hit it at the end of the meeting. I believe our first order of business is our student report, and tonight we have Kelly McCoy.
Hello, I am representing class 2009. The advanced placement exams were last week and this week. The National Honor Society induction was last week. Spring sports are beginning to wrap up. The dedication of Carey Field was a great success. Progress reports recently came out. The chorus, band, and masters all enjoyed their trip to New York. Senator Tarr will be visiting sometime next week. The sophomores will be taking the MCAS next week. The Spring Academic Recognition Awards are May 22nd and 24th. And Tori Clerkin recently conducted a survey on the students' knowledge of current events.
Any questions? I have a question. What were the results of the Tory Clerkin survey of students' knowledge of current events?
That most students weren't very informed. So, yeah.
Were there any specific topics that were discussed?
Well, like, she asked, like, what was the death toll of Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
And I think, like, maybe half of the students knew. And, like, the presidential candidates, barely anybody could name 4.
That's probably pretty good, though.
But yeah, she was gonna, email it to me next week.
Okay. Anybody else? And being that it's my first night as chairman, I already made a mistake because the first order of business, and thank you, Kelly, first order of business should have been public input. So if anybody out there in the public has any input to make, we welcome you to the front table at this time. Anybody? Okay. Dr. Trout, I'm assuming we should move to new business and the groups that are here to present tonight? Okay. First, under new business, we have several groups here to meet with us tonight, is the High School Student Leadership Academy. So whomever is going to present from that group, could you please come up and sit at the front table here? Mr. Bernard?
Mr. Bernard, did you want to start?
Why don't you guys come up here? Thank you. Mr. Lester, thank you.
I'd like to begin by thanking you for the opportunity tonight to present to you a new student group at the high school. What they're calling now is our Student Leadership Academy. And there are a number of students here. We have 54 students that are part of the program, and we have a pretty large group here representing them tonight, those that could be here. Some of them will speak to you about the presentation that we have for you, but right now I'd like to just introduce to you the Student Leadership Academy, a little bit about what it is, and I'd like the students and their faculty advisors to speak to you about what the experience was like for them over 2 days of training, and also where we're going with the Student Leadership Academy for the benefit of the entire student population. So to start, I do have a PowerPoint presentation, and I have also a handout that accompanies that I'd like to give to you. By way of introduction, I would like to just let you know how the Student Leadership Academy came about. What happened was, actually at a summer conference that I attended in the summer of 2005, I was introduced to a gentleman. His name is Dana Hout, and he is one of the consultants that we use. Core Trainings is the name of his company, and I was reintroduced to him again this past fall because he was in the area of North Reading, and he was doing some work in a nearby school. And in doing that, he was going around and reconnecting with some folks that he had met at the summer Massachusetts Secondary School Administrator Association conference. And he and I had a sit-down meeting in the late fall. I was very impressed with his presentation. I was fortunate to know very well the principal at Amesbury High School, where Dana and his wife Deb, they are the two consultants, a husband and wife team. We're doing some work up in Amesbury, and I spoke to the principal there, Les Murray, about the experience that he was having with their work, and he was very, very positive. So that helped me to make a decision that I thought would be in the best interest of our students to engage in a partnership with Core Trainings to bring about the Student Leadership Academy. The Student Leadership Academy is designed, at least from our point of view right now, as a way to empower students to become leaders in their school in a way that will hopefully benefit the entire student population. This is a growing program. We do have a large interest in it, but right now we weren't able to have everybody who was interested or eligible to participate, but we hope that over time the program will grow and more students will come into the Student Leadership Academy for the benefit of all. To let you know a little bit about how it came about that these young men and women were selected, what I did in the course of the wintertime was I sent a notice to, and I believe you have a copy of the letter. You should have 3 letters, I think, by way of Dr. Trojan. A memo that I had sent to the faculty here at the high school for student nominations. There should be a copy of a letter that was sent to parents of children who were nominated, and then there was a letter that I sent personally to the students once their nomination and their application packet were complete. What I did in, I think, January it was, of 2007, was I communicated to the staff and explained to them in a rather detailed memo what the Student Leadership Academy was, and I sought nominations from them of 2 students that they thought might be good candidates to take part in the Student Leadership Academy. And in doing that, and you'll see it in the letter, I really emphasized to them a couple of things. One was we really wanted to target 9th, 10th, and 11th graders only, because to make the investment in the training, it didn't make sense to have seniors be a part of the program because we could only have them for a couple of months. So we had to be somewhat selective. So we focused in on the underclassmen. Another thing that I asked them to consider as they nominated students was the student who may not typically be a president of the student council. In other words, as an example, a student that may not necessarily hold a leadership position in the school, but in some way, in the mind of the teacher, this student has demonstrated potential for leadership in the school. And then the third thing I asked them to evaluate was a representative cross-section of the student body, because if we're going to have the Student Leadership Academy tap into every various type of group that exists in a high school, I believe that it was important that we try to get as many different groups, diverse groups as we could, represented through the nominations. So I